everyone, I just did this entire video only to find out that it stopped recording after like 5 minutes, so I'm kind of ticked. Anyway, I'm going to try to go over everything again, maybe a little faster this time. First off, I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday and a happy new year. I know it's been a while since I've done a video. I've just been kind of really tired, and I wanted to get a few of my doctor's appointments out of the way before I updated. So I had my first ultrasound on December 27th. I was 7 weeks. I went to see the high-risk doctor at that appointment, and the ultrasound tech, she was, I've seen two up there now, and I don't like either. I'm not really fond of either. She was all right. I was really nervous and scared because it's my first ultrasound, and I was kind of like shaking. And instead of being, you know, she works at a high-risk office. She should completely understand and have a little bit more grace in approaching people, I guess. But she was just like, "What's your problem?" And I'm like, "I'm scared of my ultrasound." She's like, "Why would you be scared? It's an ultrasound." I'm like, "Because my baby died last time." And she's like, "Oh, well, that was last time." I'm like, okay. So I wasn't like, I didn't look crazy or anything. My husband said that she kind of overreacted to my reaction. But I was kind of like, you know, shaking a little bit. And she looked over at my husband. She goes, "Is she always like this?" And I'm like, "You are rude." You know, but I don't want to say anything because she's got a wand up my vagina. So I kind of don't want to be too rude back to her. So I kind of just took it. Once I saw my baby on the screen, I could care less how she was talking to me. So this is the first picture I got of my little one. I hope you can see it. That's 7 weeks. Heart rate was, I believe it was around 160 at that point. And everything looked great. She was happy with it all, and I left pretty happy. Around about a week later, around 8 weeks, I was going up the stairs carrying my son's toys in a laundry basket that he'd gotten for Christmas. Not the laundry basket, but the toys he got from Christmas. I was carrying everything upstairs, and I fell going up the stairs because I missed a step. And I landed on my stomach and on my hip. Mainly my hip, but I did land on my stomach. And I wouldn't have thought anything of it if I hadn't had my history of miscarriage and my complete paranoia, and I started cramping. So I was like, I better go get this checked out. Well, it was 7 o'clock at night, I think. So I decided to go to the ER by my house. It's a brand new ER, and nobody knows about it. And there was no one there. I didn't even think they were open, except for there were like 4 cars in the parking lot. And I walked, it's a real nice facility. I walked in, and there was 2 people in the waiting room, and they weren't even waiting to go in. They were waiting for people to come out. So I walked in, and they got me in immediately. Everyone was super nice there. Oh my God, they were so nice and wonderful. And the ER doctor, he didn't believe I was pregnant. He's like, "Well, how do you know you're pregnant?" I'm like, "Because I've taken a test and I've had an ultrasound." And he's like, "Okay, well, we're gonna have to verify you're pregnant before we get an ultrasound machine in here." I'm like, "Fine, whatever." So it took him like an hour just to do a pregnancy test, but they did one, and it came out positive, you know, big shocker. So they get the ultrasound, they wheel me into the ultrasound machine, which they give me a wheelchair. I'm like, I don't need a wheelchair, I can walk, but she pushed me in a wheelchair. And she was really nice too. The ultrasound tech, loved her. I think my ultrasound lasted an hour, and she was just so nice. She said she couldn't tell me anything. She wasn't allowed to. So I'm like, that's all right. And I was trying to, like, she could see how worried and nervous I was sitting there. So she tried to let me read between the lines. And I said, "Is there a heartbeat?" And, you know, I kept asking her, and she's like, "I can't tell you." I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "But if you happen to look at the screen, I can't stop you." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm like looking over at the screen, and she kind of like takes the cursor and like puts it near the heart, and I really couldn't see. And I'm like, "Is that the heartbeat?" "I can't see." She goes, "I can't tell you." I'm like, "I can't see, the screen's moving." She goes, "Nope, the screen's not moving." I go, "Oh, okay, maybe I'm moving." So I stay still. She goes, "Nope, you're not moving." I'm like, "Okay." She goes, "And I'm not moving." I'm like, "Okay." Like, I didn't get it. And I'm like, "Okay." And I just pretended like I did and sat down, or laid back down. And I go, "Oh, you mean the baby was moving?" So like it dawned on me a few minutes later, I wasn't moving, the screen wasn't moving, she wasn't moving, it was the baby. And she just like, she goes, "You're good at reading between the lines." So that was pretty funny. So everything was fine with that. It took them an hour to read the results. And during that time there was a doctor shift change. So I got a new doctor that came in, and he was was nice, but he's an ER doctor. Let me give you the results and here's what it is, and there's no emotion. So I asked what the heart rate was. He said he couldn't tell me. I'm like, okay. I'm like, was there a heartbeat? He goes, yeah, there's a heartbeat. I'm like, okay, did the baby measure correctly? He's like, I can't tell you. Can't tell me about my own body? I'm the patient. Like, I said, can I have my file? Can I have my ultrasound documents and your report so I can send it to my doctor? No, one's allowed to give it to me. Even though I'm the patient, I'm not allowed to have my own records, apparently. I thought that was really odd. I've never had anybody tell me I couldn't have my own records. So the doctor did say that I had a subchorionic hemorrhage, and I know exactly what that is. It's a blood clot that I don't know exactly what it is. I'm saying I know exactly what it is, but it's a blood clot that I think it's like in between, like it's behind the baby a little bit, and it can cause you to bleed the spot. And I haven't had any bleeding or spotting. He said mine was small, but I wanted to know in his words exactly what it was. So I asked him, and he said, oh, it's a blood clot that can cause fetal demise. I go, what? Like, everybody I know that's had a subchorionic hemorrhage has been fine. And yeah, I knew that they could cause a problem, but the way he said it was just more like it probably will. And I said, oh, is it bad? Is it really big? He goes, no, it's a really small one. It's only 20% bleed. I go, okay. And he's like, but it can kill your baby. And I'm like, do you have to say it that way? So I left feeling a little bit more freaked out than anything, but I was reassured that my baby was fine. I called my high-risk doctor the next morning, and she told me not to worry at all. She said, I have so many women that have these. She's like, they hardly ever result to anything. She's like, don't worry about it. She had me get off of my baby aspirin because she said that might make the bleed worse. So we're just waiting for it to resolve. I had an ultrasound with my regular OB on Monday the 6th. That was 9 weeks then. And here's the picture. This picture's cute. This was a transvaginal ultrasound. There's the head. There's the arms. It looks like the baby's praying. There's the body. The heart rate on this ultrasound was 184 to 189. He said it looked fantastic, and the baby was wiggling and moving. It was so cute. I hope you can see that. And then I had an ultrasound the same day with the high-risk doctor. So I go in, and I have a different ultrasound tech than I did the first time that I saw her at 7 weeks. And this lady was worse. Total biatch. So she works in a high-risk office, right? And she's like, what are you doing here? We just saw you like 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, my doctor wants me to come in every 1 to 2 weeks for ultrasounds because I've had 4 miscarriages. And she's like, okay. I'm like, wow. And I walk in, I go, can I pee real quick? I really have to pee. She goes, no, you can't pee real quick. And she didn't have to say it that way. Like, that's totally rude. I didn't know the reason was because she wanted to do an abdominal ultrasound. I just had a transvaginal, so I thought she would be doing the same. But no, she wanted to do an abdominal ultrasound. So she could have just said, no, I want to try it over the belly, so I want to see if, we can see anything with that before you go to the bathroom. Or, she could have said something a little bit nicer. But, so I was laying there, and she said, so you've had 4 miscarriages? I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you know the reason for any of them? I said, well, our last baby had monosomy 21. And she goes, you mean trisomy? I go, no, monosomy. She's like, no, you mean trisomy. And I'm thinking she's got my records wrong or something. And my husband's like, no, it's monosomy 21. And she's like, trisomy, it's got an extra chromosome, right? I said, no, it was missing a chromosome. And she's like, oh, well, that's odd. That's very rare. I go, yeah, I know it's rare. That's why they wanted me and my husband to get a genetic test done. I said, we both came up fine. So she's like, well, isn't that strange? Just like her attitude already. I just, ugh. And then like she wouldn't hold it on the baby for me to see, really. She was just going all over the place, and I want to see my baby. And I was like, oh, the baby's moving. Like, oh my gosh, look at that. Like you do the high-pitched woman voice, and because you're excited to see your baby. And she's like, okay, like trying to tell me to be quiet. And I'm like, who do you think you are? And then she did the heartbeat, and I didn't get to hear it, but like 2 seconds. It was just, and that was it. I'm like, really? You couldn't let me get like a nice 5 to 10 second window of hearing my baby's heartbeat? That's kind of exciting, but no. And she got the heartbeat at 174, so she got it like 10 beats less than My stupid camera cut out again, so I have no idea what part we got to. But anyway, I'm talking about the first trimester screening. So I think that it's either a blood test and an ultrasound or just the ultrasound. And I'm not sure if I want to do the blood test or not because she said that there's a 5% chance of false positives. And my boss's wife had a false positive, and they ended up having to do an amniocentesis. And I don't know what to do. If you guys have ever had the Harmony test or Verify or any of those blood tests that are supposed to check for Down or trisomy 18, excuse me, let me know what your experience was, if the test was correct for you, regardless of the results, of course, but if the test was correct and if you got a false positive or whatever. Let me know if you guys have any insight on that. I really don't know what I want to do. That test can also determine gender as well. I don't know how accurate that is. I've seen some women say that's 100% accurate. For 2 people I know, it's been accurate for. One person, they told her that's 100%, and the other girl, the girl that they told 100% is having a boy, and the girl that they told that it's only 70% accurate, she was having a girl. So I don't know if gender plays a part in it or whatever. Knowing the gender this early, I mean, it's not the most important thing to me. The most important thing to me, obviously, is having a happy, healthy baby. So let me know if you think it's even worth it. I mean, I didn't get any of these tests done with my son. Anyway, I think that's about it. I do have a home Doppler. I don't know if I just mentioned that or not, but I do have a home Doppler, and I was able to find the heartbeat around 9 weeks, and it's beautiful. I'll try to put a video clip of the heartbeat at the end of this. And I do have a video clip of my ultrasound. My husband took it, and it's awful. Like, it's half of the time he's on the ceiling and on the wall. So if there's anything good in that, I'll put it behind this video. I think that's about it. I think that's about it. Thank you guys so much for all your support and love and prayers. Everything's looking good, and I hope it continues, of course. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!